Welcome to Grants Pass, Center for Spiritual Living. We're going to start off a little different this morning. I don't know if you've seen the news lately. Yeah, I think that we need to just start with prayer. Amen. It's challenging for a minister week after week, and especially the last few months, when it's been a natural disaster, unnatural disaster, natural disaster, fill in the blank. And, people have called for special services. I know that yesterday I spent some time myself in a special service by myself. I just isolated myself in my house, and at 5 o'clock yesterday, just for 15 minutes, I sat down and just prayed, just remembered what I know to be the truth about specifically for the situation in Las Vegas. But there are so many things to pray about. Right here at home, Nedra, our own congregation has people that are having challenges, right? I mean, there may be people sitting right here next to you that we are all having something. I mean, I know that just hearing about somebody else's suffering touches me. I mean, you can't be alive, especially in this spiritual principle that we found ourselves, and not be touched at depth by something that's going on. So Las Vegas, natural disasters, unnatural disasters, hurricanes, fire victims, the firefighters, the first responders who rush in when everyone else is rushing out, and our own personal situations. And if there's anything else, let's just take a few minutes right now. And you, where you are sitting, are an incredible love generator. Know it or not. You just thinking about what you believe the infinite is, rather than thinking about what the challenge is, brings in the harmony of the universe into every situation. If we can think about whatever you choose to believe that the energy of creation is for you, whatever your higher power, your God, your source energy, your goddess energy, your great spirit, something is going on here. And let's turn into that now. Okay? So could you bring the lights down just for a second while I do a special prayer and harmonize the love that's in this room right now. So I just ask myself, and I invite you to ask yourself what you believe the energy of creation is. There is a mighty force in the universe. It created the sun. Uncountable stars. It created each one of us, down to every grain of sand on every beach and beyond. We can't even fathom the detail that has been created as what we are. But as we turn into it, literally unifying the energy of love in this moment, in this room, let's just fill this sanctuary with the love of the universe. Yes, there is power here. there is love here. Each one of us is a divine miracle in our own right. Each one of us with a different experience, but a collective experience of love. I know that each one of us is the divine in form. It can be no other way. Anyone, anywhere is that same energetic. And as we let the love expand beyond this room into Grants Pass, feeling it waving out into the atmosphere, a new love is created here. As we feel it expand completely around this globe, uniting and connecting every heart, every being, every soul, every animal, every plant, every fiber, every tissue, everything that is part of the love of the universe. I may not know everyone that needs assistance, but I know God knows. And as we connect with that, as we invite the love of God in, it knows exactly where, when, and how to do it. That connection is now made, and it goes beyond this earth globe, goes out into the atmosphere to saturate everything, anywhere that is. And it starts right in your seat. You are the love of the universe. So we thank that healing, that revealing essence that does the miraculous work. We claim it in this moment as the love of all things. God does not know gender, does not know sexual orientation, does not know political parties, does not know. All God knows is love. Love is the answer to all questions. So we release this word, letting go of this love so it can return to us filled to overflowing. For this service, this center, this calm unity, this community is about love. So we let go and we let God be God in us, as us, for it is the truth of all we are. As we affirm together by saying, and so it is. Okay, all right. Now I've got your attention. There's nothing like prayer. There is nothing like prayer. And you are praying all the time, no matter what you're saying, what you're doing, where you're going, where you are. So watch what you say. Watch where you go. Watch what you do. Because if you know it or not, you're always praying. Anything you say is a prayer. This is why they say pray without ceasing. Because if you're already praying anyway, when you go to curse something, if you know what unity really is, it means we're all one. When you curse something else, you're cursing yourself. See, what we're suffering from is a lack of spiritual knowledge in the world. People just don't know. Or they are experiencing a dis-ease because of their not knowingness. It's education. So what we're going to talk about today is forming relationships. It's all about relationships, isn't it? Your relationship to each other and our relationship to ourselves and our primary relationship. What is your primary relationship? Now, don't look to the person sitting next to you because they're a byproduct of your primary relationship. God is your primary relationship, and you are God. Now, if I was to say, I am God, you go, that guy's a little nuts. But when I say, I am a cell in the body of God, and you are God too, it brings a different light to it. If I say, I'm God, and I will say how it goes, then you're going, yeah, you're a little whacked. But when I say, I am God just like you are, there is no separation. That's why we have to treat each other with such love and such caring and such reverence. It's so important. So what is a relationship? A friend, a lover, a co-worker? All relationships are expressions of spirit. The desire for spirit to experience and express itself, always. Even that guy that cuts you off on the freeway, even that person that cuts in line at the supermarket, it's all the same. And it's our judgment of that situation that make it a blessing or a curse. If we can smile upon everyone and go, oh, I know you're in there, God. I know you. You can't fool me. Watch what happens. There's really only one of us here. So when we're growing up, our parents are our primary relationship. They're our God because they give us our food. They shelter us, right? You see where I'm going with this is that becomes our understanding of God, but we start to grow out of that pretty quickly. Some come into this world not even believing that. They believe they're their own God. But there comes a point when we get to the end of our belief system that someone or something outside of ourselves is our provider. And it comes back on us. And we're taught in the world to go out and get a job and start a family. Go out there and get an education. And if you really look at education, education is saying, go within and find yourself. So we've got this kind of dualistic story going on. Go out there and get a job. Go out and find something. Go out and discover who you are. And you come into a church and we say, go within and find yourself. It's a little confusing. But we have to go out to come back in. We have to have the experience of going out to expend our energy so that we can turn back within. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about having a list for a relationship. You know, I used to do this. I used to make a list of the things that I wanted to have in a relationship, right? I went to a relationship seminar, and the practitioner that was running it said, okay, I want you to list everything you want in a mate or in a friend or and just out pretty, non-smoker, great with finances, looks great in a bathing suit, or, all these things, right? And then she says, you got them all down? Is there anything else you forgot? Get it down there. You want it on your list. She says, now become those things. Oh, okay, well, maybe I can edit this. There doesn't have to be non-smokers. See how we change our list when we start having to become those things? But if we are to expect someone else to do these things and we can't do them ourselves, what are we doing? What are we doing? We're playing a funny little game with the universe, right? And she said, once you become those things that you want, you won't need anyone outside of yourself to fill you up. Because you're complete within yourself. And once you are complete within yourself and self-realized, you don't need anything to come within to love you. You start being a love generator. And from that overflow of love from so much love coming out of you, you start being attractive. People start enjoying being in your energy field. They start saying, I don't know what it is, but I just like being around that energy. What about loneliness? Loneliness was one of my favorite friends. You know, I came to a point in my relationship situation where I was by myself. I was alone for the first time. And I realized that I always had a girlfriend or multiple girlfriends because I was so afraid of being alone. That if I could have somebody that I could point the blame at, you know, I'd be okay if it wasn't for you. And then when all that disappeared, when I drove them away, I found myself on my knees at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, what is my problem? And I realized that I had to start loving myself at depth. And once you start doing that, it doesn't matter who's in your life. You get to, from your overflow, love. From your overflow, you love at depth. Loneliness is not about being alone. It's completely psychological. It's a deficiency in spiritual knowledge, and that's what our world is experiencing right now. This is why you have people doing things that are out of left field because they don't know love. They don't know how to love. Forgive them, for they know not what the hell they're doing. Literally. How can you forgive them for what they did? Well, if we really believe we're all one, we need to find some way to love at depth, because it's all part of us. And from that love of depth, it will saturate into the universe of love and start to outpicture. But we need to send love, not hate. This doesn't mean condoning what someone has done. It means seeing it rightly. Seeing it rightly. So I spent time yesterday not only praying for the victims, but praying for the person that was at fault for their challenge, because something is going on there that needs to be loved. If we shun it and shut it out, we become part of the problem. We become part of the hateration. We don't want to continue and perpetuate the hate. We need to send love. Again, this is not to condone anyone who has done something that is unthinkable. But we must saturate this universe with so much love because they can't love themselves. And until they do, we will love them. Even when they do, we will love them. Do you see? Do you see how love has to be put into this? Just like loving ourselves when we want a so-called mate. So do you know how to love yourselves? Well, I didn't know how to love myself. I always thought it was from someone else that gave me their love. So I started taking myself out on dates, buying myself flowers and chocolates. And I liked that. I liked that. You know, I was like, because I would fantasize this story. I'd see flowers and I'd go, God, I wish I had somebody to buy these for. And something inside me said, buy them for yourself. And I was like, am I worthy of flowers? God said, are you not worthy of flowers? So I bought flowers and put them on my table. And every day I'd walk by and see them and go, those are beautiful, like you. Now, I didn't believe it at first. I was like, But something within me believed it. Something within me loved it. And I could buy into that. So how do you treat yourself when you've made some silly mistake? I was really good at cursing myself. I would up and down, just say bad things about myself. And then I realized, well, if I really believe in this whole oneness thing that I'm teaching, I'm telling myself that I'm a fill in the blank. So now I've gotten to the point where I can quickly, you are so blessed. You are such a blessing to this world. Look what you did. You did that mess. That's yours. Claim it. Get pictures of it. It's so pretty. Only you could mess it up like that. But when you start loving it and laughing at yourself about it, it changes the energy of it. People make mistakes. That's why we're here. Hopefully you don't injure yourself or someone else in the process. And if you do, you make amends quickly. Do you find it difficult to accept compliments? I did. I'd be like, oh, what, this old thing? I only wear this one. I don't care how I look. No, but your shirt is so beautiful. Immediately direct the energy back. And my teacher said, no. The appropriate response is thank you. That's all. Thank you. And move on. It was tough. I wanted to divert that energy. I could stand there with your hands open and say thank you and accept it because you're worth it. You are so worth it. You are God incarnate. How could you not be worth it, right? So here's some truth. Let's go a little deeper now. I'm talking to you directly, are a wonderful, capable, beautiful, interesting, perfect person. This is the root of who and what you are. You are awesome. You are incredible, and you are loved so much. This is the heart of what you are. You are created out of that love. And that love you will always carry with you. It is your soul. You can never hurt it. You can never extinguish it. You can never do anything bad to it. It's just who you are. Fess up to it. Claim it. And hold it as your always energy. Your basic need is not to be loved. Your basic need is to love. You want someone you can share a mutual experience of growth with. This is why a child wants a puppy or a dolly, or it's not because, or whatever. It's not because they want to love it. Not because it's going to necessarily be the love, but they want to express that love. Don't you want to I want to love. So love becomes not two people looking goo-goo-eyed at each other, but two people looking out the same window together. You and God. You as God. Really only one of us here. But when we find a mutual partner to share this experience of life with, it's beautiful. But don't make it about them. Because if you have your expectations on them and they go away, you're back to square one. They are an extension of your love of yourself. And if they go away, you will be hurt. But it won't be the end of you. See the difference? So two people have a good grounds for a relationship if they celebrate what they do have in life without creating unreal expectations of the other of what they don't have. What you are not should never be a factor, only what you are. Ouch. So, it's never too late to have a happy childhood. Now, again, this isn't to condone some of the things that have happened in our childhoods by misunderstood people that were doing the best that they could at the time. But you can recreate your childhood. You can think about it differently. You can see it differently. I know a friend that recreated their childhood, and now they say, I had a father who loved me very much and gave me everything I ever wanted. It's just a different way of looking at it so that we can get over it. Again, this isn't to dismiss any terrible things that people do to each other, but it's not to stay in that energy. Because if we stay in the energy of lack, limitation, hurt, and harm, we perpetuate it. We have to bring ourselves out of it, see it for what it was, know that that's their situation, they did the best they could, and now I choose to love. I choose to live. I am here to express and expand life in any and every way possible. So as a student of truth, let's go deep again. As a student of truth, it is important to get the realization that you live in the very heart and center of the universe of love. The need is to give way to love, to release something within yourself which is already there. That is so powerful. Once we turn it around, we become the love that we're seeking. That's the mystery of the ages. You know, we seek something that we are already looking, that we're looking for something we already have. As Ernest Holmes said, what you're looking for, you're looking with. It's the love. So, in conclusion, your primary relationship is with yourself. Always with yourself. Whenever you have a challenge out there, go back here and work it out. Find within yourself the way of love. Get through your loneliness alone by finding yourself, and you'll never be alone again. Because once you find yourself, there is a fountain of love within you so powerful that it could never be turned off. It can never be extinguished. It can never be harmed. Love is not about finding the right person. It's about being the right person. So forming relationships is not someone else to be met. It's a new depth within yourself to be discovered. And so it is. Thank you. So let's take a moment and go back into prayer. Go back into the prayer that we started this morning. Take the lights down. So as we invite the awareness of the presence that creates worlds into our life right now, just activating that is already there. We know that the harmony and the love of the universe is right where we are sitting. Each one of us a divine expression and an outpicturing of the love of the universe. And as such, we share that love with the world. speak a word of blessing upon anyone, anywhere who has asked for prayer. Be it spoken or typed or written, or just mentioned, please God, help me. And I know that that power of love has rushed in before the need has been there. It has always been there, but is now activated. The switch of love has been moved into the on position and is now flowing effortlessly, perfectly, and powerfully into all that is. How good it is to know that we know that we know. So we claim that blessing of love right here and right now in all that is. We say thank you. Thank you, divine loving essence and wisdom of all that is, as we release and let go of this word, placing it directly into the law of mind where it is activated. And miraculous energy flows constantly as who and what we are, as we affirm together by saying, and so it is.